and shadows fall, I'll be beside you whenever you call. When worries weigh heavy and fears take flight, I'll be your strength, guiding through the night. And when the days are dark and heavy on your heart, I'll be the voice to guide you through the dim. Strong walls may crumble, but within you've got the spark. Just turn the key, let light dissolve the grim. Did you think you were alone in your feelings? Strike a match, let your inner strength be seen. Welcome to all things serious. In the depths of your despair, where demons roam, I'll be the hand to hold. You're never alone. When storms rage fierce and winds blow strong, I'll be the shelter in your soul where you belong. Welcome to all things serious.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing today? I hope we're doing well. So we got Pen in the house. How you doing? Trigger Mint Mocha. How you doing? Juicer. How you doing? Sweet and Sleuthy. How you doing? So today's live. We're talking about Sarah, how you doing? Lindley, how you doing? So we're talking about anxiety today. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you lurking in the bushes and in chat understand anxiety. And I'm sorry what you're going through. I'm sorry to hear that, Sweet and Sleuthy. If you want to reach out later on today, you can. Ginger, how you doing? Aries, how you doing? Black Skies, my friend, how you doing? So, anxiety. Put a 1 in chat if you have anxiety. Okay. Because there's different types of anxiety, and we're going to go through all the different types of anxiety. Because a lot of people don't understand anxiety or relate to anxiety. I understand, Black Skies. I understand. I deal with my own too, so I can relate, Black Skies. That's why I'm here. So, anxiety disorders are mental health conditions that involve persistent and excessive feelings of fear or worry. Now, I'm just going to overview, and then we're going to go through, each one. So, they can impact a person's ability to function in social, occupational, and personal settings. So the symptoms of anxiety is persistent fear, chronic, distressing, and uncontrollable feelings of fear or worry. Panic attacks. I've experienced panic attacks. I'm pretty sure some of you in chat have experienced panic attacks, and they are real. They are real. Lisa, how you doing? Mo and Company, how you doing? Panic attacks, sudden and intense feelings of terror that can occur without warning or in specific situations. Physical symptoms, sweating, trembling, rapid heartbeat, dizziness, shortness of breath, nausea, and stomach upset. Avoidance, going to great lengths to avoid situations that cause anxiety or panic. Cognitive symptoms, difficulty concentrating or making decisions, feeling irritable, tense, or restless. Sleeping issues, trouble sleeping. So the types of anxiety disorders, you have generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorders, social anxiety disorder. You have phobias, and there's a lot of phobias. PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, separation anxiety disorder. Yes, yes, panic attacks. Panic attacks are serious. Panic attacks, you feel like you're having a heart attack. I felt it before. Rody Gal, how you doing? I've lost. I've had. I've passed out before. Quinny, how you doing? I got dizzy and collapsed. I was in one part of my place and ended up somewhere else and I didn't know how I got there. And I was lost. I was like, what just happened? I was confused. Then I found out I have anxiety. So what is an anxiety disorder? Anxiety disorder is a type of mental health condition. We've already went over that. Now, if you have an anxiety disorder, you may respond to certain things and situations with fear and dread. You may also experience physical signs of anxiety, such as heart pounding and sweating. I know when my anxiety kicks in, my hands get clammy, sweaty palms. Okay. Sweaty palms is what happens to me. So it's normal to have some anxiety. You may feel anxious or nervous if you have to tackle a problem at work or go to an interview or take a test or make an important decision. Some anxiety can be beneficial. It helps us notice dangerous situations, and focus our attention so we stay safe. But an anxiety disorder goes beyond the regular nervousness and slight fear you may feel from time to time. An anxiety disorder happens when anxiety interferes with your ability to function. Your reactions are often out of proportion to situations, overreacting. You can't control your responses to situations. Children, adolescents, and adults can experience anxiety disorders. Women and people assigned female at birth are about twice as likely as men and people assigned male at birth to have one. I don't understand. Anxiety disorders can make it difficult to get through the day. Fortunately, there are several effective treatments for these conditions. Days of the Streets, how you doing? Lisa, I hope you're doing well. There are several types of anxiety disorders. According to the American Psychiatric Association, Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, DSM-5, This is a standard reference manual for diagnosing mental health conditions. These types of anxiety disorders include, and I'm going to share with you guys the website I get my info from. And then when I'm done, I will open the panel and I will talk about my anxiety and share what I go through. And maybe somebody who has it and hears it knows that they're not alone. Generalized anxiety disorder, known as GAD. This condition causes fear, worry, and constant feeling of being overwhelmed. It's characterized by excessive, frequent, and unrealistic worry about everyday things, such as job responsibilities, health, or chores. Agoraphobia. This condition causes an intense fear of becoming overwhelmed or unable to escape or get help. People with agoraphobia often avoid new places, unfamiliar situations, like large open areas or enclosed spaces, crowds, and places outside their homes. Panic disorder. This condition involves multiple unexpected panic attacks. A main feature of this condition is that the attacks usually happen without warning and aren't due to another mental health or physical condition. Some people with panic disorder also have agoraphobia. Specific phobias. A phobia is when something causes you to feel fear or anxiety that is so severe it constantly and overwhelmingly disrupts your life. There are hundreds of different types of phobias, and there's one diagnosis for almost all of them: specific phobia. Only one phobia, agoraphobia, is a distinct diagnosis. Then we have SAD, social anxiety disorder. This condition, formerly known as social phobia, happens when you experience intense and ongoing fear of being judged negatively and or watched by others. Separation anxiety disorder. This condition happens when you feel excessive anxiety when you're separated from a loved one, like a primary caregiver. While separation anxiety in babies and toddlers is a normal stage of development, separation anxiety disorder can affect children and adults. And then you have selective, I think it's mutism. This condition happens when you don't talk in certain situations because of fear or anxiety. It usually affects young children, but it can also affect adolescents and adults. Vermont, how you doing? Aaron, how you doing? See who else came in. So, our mental health conditions share features with anxiety. Other mental health conditions share features with anxiety disorders. These include post-traumatic stress disorder, acute stress disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. But the American Psychiatric Association classifies them as distinct conditions and not anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders are some of the most common mental health conditions. Specific phobias affect up to 12% of the U.S. population. Social anxiety disorder affects about 7% of the U.S. population. Generalized anxiety disorder affects about 3% of the US population. Affects about 3% of the US population. Agoraphobia affects up to 1.7% of the US population. Separation anxiety affects about 4% of children, 1.6% of adolescents, and up to 1.9% of adults. Selective mutism is the least common anxiety disorder. It affects between 0.47% and 0.76% of the US population. So, Jack, Black Powder Prepper, how you doing? So I want to drop the link, and anybody that is willing to come up, you can come up. And we can have conversation about anxiety. My anxiety is general. Fruit Loops, how you doing? How you doing? I have general anxiety disorder. And some days it's pretty intense. Other days not so much. The biggest thing with me is I worry way too much. I worry. I worry sometimes. I think I'm a failure. I think I'm not good enough sometimes. And I know I'm not a failure. I know that. So, general anxiety disorder, this condition causes fear, worry, and constant feeling of being overwhelmed. It's characterized by excessive, frequent, and unrealistic worry about everyday things such as job, responsibilities, health, and chores. That's what I have. You know, yes, talking about it can be a trigger for sure, but I'd rather share it and let people know that they're not alone in what their struggle is. Because a lot of us struggle with something. And some of us feel like we're alone. And we're not. We're not alone. Jody Ann, how you doing? You know, I do this and talk about my struggle to let people know that they're not struggling alone either. You know, sometimes we look at people that are having a bad day and we judge them, not realizing they're having a bad day. Instead, smile, even talk to them, and let them know that they're not alone in their struggle. Yeah, I have trouble sleeping myself. I have insomnia. So, note to self, how you doing? So, anxiety PJ second chance, how you doing? So, I used to think, I will tell you this, growing like years ago, I used to think I had social anxiety disorder. Why? Because I used to think that people were out to get me, and it wasn't. Danny C, how you doing? And it wasn't. I didn't have social anxiety disorder. Okay. It was the alcohol. I was a heavy drinker. I had anxiety, but not the social. You know, I'd start drinking and corner myself into an area of the venue, and where no one could come behind me. And I think it was, but when I sobered up and everything like that, I felt fine. Substances can change your thought process. It can ruin your reality. And when I sobered up, reality slapped me in the face. And I had a lot to deal with. And I still deal with it today. Kathy, how you doing? Danny C, welcome in. I hope you're doing all right. So we all are struggling with something that, with the right support system and therapy, is something we can overcome in time. It's not easy. It's a struggle. But having the right support system around you and therapy. And I know a lot of people don't like therapy, and I understand. Because a lot of therapists, especially today, you have to shop around. Miss W, how you doing? It's been a while. And I was, therapy has helped me. Is it Kalina? I hope I didn't butcher your name. How you doing? So, how many lives have you lived, PJ Second Chance? How many lives have you actually lived? 2, 3, 4. Just joking. Okay. CBT? I've never tried it. To be honest. So, I'm not against new things. I'm open to it. I'm always open to new things. I'm open into trying getting my medical card and getting edibles to see if it'll help me sleep. Mo, you might as well move down to Florida. You don't have to worry about the winter anymore. You don't have to worry about black ice. I hated driving in the winter. I really did. I really did. Yeah, I'm gonna get. So let's get back to anxiety disorders. How common? We already did that. I was about to repeat myself. Symptoms and causes. What are the symptoms of anxiety disorders? Symptoms of anxiety disorders vary depending on the type. Psychological symptoms may include feeling panic, fear, dread, and uneasiness, feeling on edge or irritable, uncontrollable obsessive thoughts, difficulty concentrating. And what I've noticed in some people in chat is some people have fear, which is understandable. Sally, how you doing? Some people have fear. Or dread. Physical symptoms may include restlessness, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, muscle tensions, cold or sweaty hands, dry mouth, nausea, numbness or tingling in your hands or feet, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, insomnia. Blue Rose, how you doing? Ava, how you doing? So, anxiety, it's so when I know my anxiety kicks in, it's cold or sweaty hands. My hands get sweaty. And I have insomnia, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. So I have anxiety 24/7, I guess, because insomnia is part of it. Oh, you can't win for losing, right? Tracy, how you doing? So if you want to come up on panel, you're more than welcome. Everybody's welcome. If there's something else on your mind and you want to talk about it, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. What causes anxiety disorders? Let's learn about that. What causes? I like that name, Mr. Meatball. How you doing? Like other types of mental health conditions, researchers don't know exactly what causes anxiety disorders, but they think a combination of factors plays a role. Chemical imbalances. Several neurotransmitters and hormones play a role in anxiety, include I can't even pronounce some of these words. I can't pronounce half these words. I need to learn. I know serotonin. I know dopamine. Norepinephrine. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to butcher these words. Imbalances in these chemicals can contribute to an anxiety disorder. Let me screen share. Because I'm really good at reading, but English wasn't my favorite subject. So you can see the blue words. Is it big enough? Can you guys see it? Okay. All right. So, brain changes. A part of your brain called amygdala, Amy, Amygdala. I got to get my pronunciations properly. Plays an important role in managing fear and anxiety. Studies show that people with anxiety disorders show increased activity in responses to anxiety cues. Genetics. We all know what genetics are. Anxiety disorders tend to run in biological families. This suggests that genetics may play a role. You may be at an increased risk of developing one if you have a first-degree relative, biological parent, or sibling with an anxiety disorder. Environmental factors. Yes, and I cannot pronounce that word, Sarah. Okay, I got to read chat. Angel, what are you doing? You could turn your camera off, Sarah. How you doing?
I am good. I just wanted to show it was me because of that little thing that happened not too long ago.
Yes.
All right, that is pronounced amygdala.
Amygdala?
Amygdala.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and that is your flight or fright your fright or flight area of the brain. Releases like cortisol and norepinephrine, and those are your stress hormones.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the cortisol is what is like starts flowing through your body and and those will increase your heart rate and start making you feel panic. And though that part of your brain will light up once you're in a stressful situation because, it's that primal kind of part of our brain for protection. And it'll start kicking in our defense mechanisms, which is the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Which fawn is like the people pleasing, and freeze is flight or fright. Fight, we know what those are.
Yep.
But I'm a fawner. I become like a people pleaser when I go into that mode where it's like I try to make the situation better and fix everything. Like, holy crap.
I used to be the same way. I used to be a people pleaser. And then I realized you can't please everybody.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that part of the brain is I think I was explaining that one live when I had my daughter over and she scared the crap out of everybody. But I was explaining that trauma will actually swell that part of the brain and it'll shrink the hippocampus, which is like your memory and like your short-term memory especially. So like that'll increase, the amygdala will swell, the hippocampus will shrink slightly, and it's like once you feel a trauma, your body will be on like constant, like ready to attack mode or freeze mode, whatever your defense mechanism might be.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. Like when I learned that trauma actually literally changes your brain, it's just like, wow. And that's what therapies will do, is help rewire that trauma brain and bring it back to kind of a more level, even out a little bit. It's pretty interesting.
Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not driving. I just know car sounds can be kind of loud.
You're just sitting in the vehicle?
Yeah, my boyfriend's driving, so.
Okay. All right. I thought you were driving.
Nah. He's driving Miss Daisy right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get the kiddo, so I figured I would hop up before we got her, and she got all excited that mom was on YouTube again. Yeah, that's definitely like a pretty big deal for her. It's kind of cute, but she's 8, so YouTubers are all the rage. And she's like, I want to be a YouTuber. I go, hell to the no, you are not going on YouTube. No freaking way. That is a bad idea.
So I want to continue on reading this one part real quick.
All right, read away, my
And
friend.
then, how are anxiety disorders diagnosed? If you or your child are experiencing symptoms of anxiety disorder, see a healthcare provider. They'll start with a medical evaluation. They'll do a physical exam and ask about your medical history, any medications you're taking, or if you or your family members have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. There aren't any blood tests or imaging scans that can diagnose anxiety disorders, but your provider may run some of these tests to rule out physical conditions that may be causing your symptoms, like hyperthyroidism, for example. If there is an underlying physical cause, your provider may refer you to a mental health professional. A mental health professional, such as a psychologist or psychiatrist, will do an interview or survey and ask questions about your symptoms, sleeping habits, and other behaviors. They use this criteria in the American Psychiatric Association, DSM-5, to make diagnosis of anxiety disorders. So, and what they do is they base the diagnosis on your reported symptoms, including how intense they are and how long they last. Discussions of how the symptoms interfere with your daily life. The provider's observation of your attitude and behavior. An anxiety disorder is like any other health condition that requires treatment. You can't will it away. It's not a matter of self-discipline or attitude. Researchers have made a lot of progress in the last few decades in treating mental health conditions. Your healthcare provider will tailor a treatment plan that works for you. So that may include medication and psychotherapy, talk therapy. So she dropped down. Oh, you good?
I gotta remember not to hit the back button when I'm on my phone.
Yes. Low 12, how you doing? Shift happens. How you doing? So, and I always tell people therapy works. You just got to find the right therapist.
Okay.
And you got to be willing. You got to be willing.
Yeah, for sure. Not all therapists are built the same, and not all people are built the same. So if you end up lucky, like thankfully I was the last couple therapists I've had, and we clicked very well together. But I've had a couple therapists where it's just like, you're not getting what I'm saying. Especially when some people have complex, emotional things going on, or mental illnesses that are just, sometimes specialized. It's really important. Like Psychology Today is a decent resource to look up therapists, because you can actually go in there and pick your parameters. Like, you can put in there, I want them to specialize in this, this, and this. Whether you want them to be male or female, whether you want to see them in person. And
Yep.
sorry, cough in the background. It's Psychology Today. I like it. Like, you can choose your insurance if you have it. I personally really like it for that. I found a couple therapists there, and yeah, that way you kind of know that they say somebody has bad PTSD, or somebody's in the military or a military veteran and they want a therapist that specializes in, military. You can look
Yep,
for that. It's
you
really,
can.
I think it's really important because it's not a one size fits all.
Nope.
Yeah. And I just want to say I like Vermont. He used the word neuroplasticity, which is funny because we actually were talking about that in my psychology of aging class just last night. It's basically your brain adjusts as you learn new things and you have new experiences, kind of like plasticity. You think of like elastic, it forms and adjusts around your experiences. And if you have traumas or good things happen to you, it'll kind of adjust around your life, because that's what our brains are, like the most complex computers out there. Like AI's got nothing on the human brain. It tries, but it doesn't.
So, has anybody used Better Help?
I have not. I've used Talkspace because it takes insurance.
Quick Vic, how you doing? So, Better Help doesn't take insurance.
I'm not sure if BetterHelp does now, but back when I looked into it, it did not. It wants you to pay like a monthly fee or something like that. I
Oh,
mean, it
okay.
might.
So you,
Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
membership kind of thing. But it
yeah.
might take insurance. But I went to Talkspace, and like if you're, I think it depends on your insurance. Like me, when I signed up for it, I already hit my deductible, so I didn't have to pay anything. Like they ask for a card to have on file in case you do owe something.
You're good, H. Davis.
Whoop. Okay, but
Yeah.
hey H Davis.
She kicked herself out again.
Oh, wow.
So,
What's going on? I loved her.
do you struggle with anxiety at all, H. Davis?
Yes, I do.
What type of anxiety do you have?
Sometimes I get nervous.
So you just have a general anxiety?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming up, Sarah.
Yeah, I get nervous when I do speeches with in front of a lot of
So
people.
stage fright. Stage
Yeah,
fright.
yeah.
What, you have a fear of big crowds? Somewhat.
I got over that. I have a fear of heights. Yeah, heights.
Okay. So you used to have a fear of big crowds and you overcame it.
Yeah, I overcame it.
They call that exposure therapy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a type of therapy in which, yeah, exposure therapy. This is a type of therapy in which a mental health provider creates a safe environment to expose you to your fears. Fears may be things, situations, and or activities. Exposure therapy helps you show that you are capable of confronting your fears. You'll learn to attach new, more realistic beliefs to things you're afraid of. You'll become more comfortable with the experience of fear. And then you have CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which I've done, cognitive behavioral therapy. This is the most common type of psychotherapy to help manage anxiety disorders. CBT for anxiety teaches you to recognize and identify thought patterns and behaviors that lead to troublesome feelings. You then work on changing the thoughts and your reactions to triggering situations. So, one thing I am against is self-diagnosis. Okay. I can't stand when people go to social media to diagnose themselves. I've seen that one too many times. One too many times. If you think you're struggling with something, seek help. There's no shame in asking for help. None whatsoever. You're not alone. There are people that are going through the same thing. You're not alone. So you got to go pick up your first pair of reading glasses, note to self. You're going to be just like me. Well, be safe.
I'm back.
Be safe. Drive safe. If you're driving, drive safe. So, H. Davis,
Mm-hmm.
are you done with competitions?
Well, yeah, for right now I am. Not well, I got a basketball game on the 26th.
Okay. That's cool. So,
Yeah.
Vermont Cheddar says, I hate the stigma, but once you get strong inside to the outside, you laugh at people that use stigma and just avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because you're struggling with something does not make you weak.
You're right.
It does not make you weak. Acknowledging that you're struggling with something actually makes you a stronger person. Asking for help does not make you weak.
Mm-hmm.
It actually helps you become a stronger person inside.
Yeah.
And making sure that you surround yourself with like-minded people is what's important too.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else feel like they got some input to share? You want to come up, Vermont Cheddar? I'll drop the link.
Are you going live at 8:30 also? Just asking.
Nope. I got a new time. I go live between 4:30 and 5:30 now.
Okay.
I think it's a lot easier to go live at this time of the day.
Right.
I
Yeah.
really do. So, people are just getting out of work.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Vermont?
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hey,
How you
Vermont.
doing?
Mic check, as always.
You're good.
Oh, wait. I got another window I gotta close. Hold on. No, I have an echo. All right, I'm back. All right.
All
I
right. Are
forgot
you good?
on another window. That's all. Go ahead. Go on. But like I said, there's isolation where like that becomes agoraphobia and stuff like
Yep.
this and that. But you can also take some solitude to, like, you can go to a party and everybody's with 100 people are acting like they all love you and they're just basically acting, but really they have their own struggles too, but they're just putting a smile on their face or, you know, trying to be social. So, like, if you take a nice respite and find a little stoicism and solitude, you can understand your thoughts and how they work. And that's not to go into self-diagnosis. That's what I meant by being strong from the inside out.
Yep.
And that's knowing what you are, what affects you, why it affects you. And then, you know, you can start seeing people that are manipulators or, you know, con men's or confidence men. And, you know, and then you just, instead of engaging with it, which I used to do a lot, you know, I found a lot of solitude through isolation, but then I learned a lot about myself. But my problem is I'm on these medications and there's this word called akathisia. And so I believe a lot of my problems now come from the medication. So, you know, I started taking, like, when Sarah was talking about neuroplasticity, like your brain is like rubber or elastic, like she said. And then, like, when you become an adult, whether you're a woman or a man, like somewhere between 22 and 27 or something, it hardens. And then if it hardens up before you fix it, it's going to be a lot harder to deal with.
Yep.
So when you can find that solitude and then find what you really want to fix about yourself, or choose your path, this fork in the road, that fork in the road, whatever, that's your decision. You know, nobody's influencing you. And then when you get
Nope.
those vultures out of your life, you start attracting just, you know, honeys and bees and just flowers. And, you know, like I always, when I was younger, I always wanted a girlfriend and I would try to get a girlfriend and I never got one, you know? And then, like, once I started like working out and getting strong and I became confident in myself, all of a sudden all the girls started coming to me.
Wow.
I became the flower instead of the bee.
I like how you said that, Vermont.
You know, I mean, I really don't want to take over. You know, sometimes I can ramble on or get off the rails, but I thought that it was a good point that helps, like almost like tie leaves in a dish. It just ties everything together and makes it work.
Yep. Yep.
You know, time I meant, not tie. But yeah, so like, yeah, like if you're weak and you go out and you try to find people and try to give them and show a fake smile or something, oh, believe me, those vultures will eat you all up.
Yep.
So isolation is, I'm agoraphobic, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. Stoicism and being solitude means just you're taking a respite and you're trying to think for yourself, learn who you are. And then once you know who you are, you can start to work from the ground up and help fix it.
Yep. That's why I
And
tell people there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. There's nothing wrong with it.
yeah, and that's why I asked about better health, is because, like, they advertise in so many channels and this and that, and I hear it's all a bunch of just like
Yeah.
people that don't really know anything. But like I said, if I could just say I want another one, I want another one, I want another one, maybe you'll find a good one that actually does know something that can help you. Instead of having to wait 3 months because all the therapists are backed up. I mean, when you're
Yep.
going through something, sometimes like I don't want to talk to people for a couple days. I go on my own little respite. And then sometimes I want to call people and I just call different people that I trust. And I just want to say a couple things and then I want to, it's like a vent. It's like letting the steam out, you know, and
We're
just
getting
talking.
complimented on our northern accents, Vermont cheddar.
Yeah, I'm Brooklyn, Jersey. My parents are from Brooklyn. I was born in Jersey, so I'm like a combination. I lived in Brooklyn for a couple of years myself. Bay Ridge, Bensonhurst. No, I actually lived in oh man, I don't even want to think of the name, but where the original crispy pizza was from, it was like this little small neighborhood in between Bensonhurst
Yep.
and, and Bay Ridge. And like we used to all go out to like Shore Road where like you'd see the BQE go around like the highway. And we all used to
Yep.
hang out. It was very relaxing. And but sometimes like one time I got off the subway at like 34th Street and I had to walk all the way to 74th Street.
That's 40 blocks.
That's not a big deal. It's just so my father told me as a child is just walk in the middle of the road on the yellow lines. You see a red light, just tap your horn and pass through it. Cops don't care. Because if you're in the middle of the street, if somebody's coming to you, you know,
Yep.
you have a chance to run. Also, what most people don't realize is that like I've like had girlfriends that lived in the projects and the Bronx and stuff like that, and like once they know that you're not there, like a cop or trying to do anything with their business, they just leave you alone. So you just walk around with your head up high
Yep.
and you look at anybody and they just leave you alone because most of that gang violence is gangs versus gangs territory, you know.
Yep. I understand that. So you don't put
So I went
yourself in
off
the
the rails there a
situation.
little bit, so I'm gonna give it back to you. But that's just
But
like
thank you for
my
coming on.
father grew up like hanging on trolleys, going to Ebbets Field to watch the Dodgers.
Yep.
You know,
So,
skipping school, and he would walk
yep.
home at night, and that's where they would pull car antennas off and just beat people with them, just like to whip them.
Yep. Let's change the subject.
Yeah. So he told me a lot of like street smarts.
Yes. I grew up in the streets. I understand.
Yeah.
Yep. I was raised in the
My
streets.
my father grew up in the streets, and he got out of the draft after Vietnam, and oh, sorry about that. Um, and he just became a good businessman, but he always had that. But now that he's older, he's like a little bit,
Yep. I understand. We've had these conversations. I
yeah.
understand. But Thank
So
you
you
for
take
coming
it
up,
back on
Vermont.
track, buddy. You take it back on
Yes.
track. You want me to hang up, or you want me to just hang
Yeah,
up and
yeah,
go?
yeah. I want to talk. I want to talk to some other people in the community.
All right,
So
cool. I'm
thank you for
glad
coming up, Vermont.
Yeah, I just wanted to give the same thought but a different perspective.
Yes, yes.
That's
And you're
all.
always welcome, bro.
All right. Take care, buddy. I'll be in chat.
You too. Thank you for talking to me earlier.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, bro. Later. If I agree with that statement, Aaron, reach out to people that encourage you, not bring you down. I figured out with a friend B and a friend A versus a friend A is the friend B is a person that sucks sucks you dry emotionally. So it's true. You do have certain friends. That's why you got to know your friends. You know, not just friends, family members too. Because family members, yes, Lisa, family members can suck you dry emotionally too. You're right, Cindy Rose. I want to post this, and I like sharing this quite often. If you're watching this video, I want you to read this out loud to yourself. Don't complicate life. Missing somebody, call them. Want to meet up, invite. Want to be understood, explain. Have a question, ask. Don't like something, fix it. Like something, state it. Want something, work for it. Love someone, tell them. Keep your life simple. Keep your life simple. So Cindy Rose said, my mental health provider told me that caring and empathic people suffer from anxiety more than those lacking empathy and caring about others. I see how every blessing comes with a curse, so to speak. So everybody, thank you for being here. I enjoyed your company. I enjoyed everybody being here. Yeah, George. The further south you go, the time changes, George. So I will see you guys Sunday around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30, 6 p.m. I'm going to give you a call after this live, George. That was my plan. So just been real busy. So everybody, I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Juicer, Aaron, George, my friend, everybody in chat, Mo, Miss W, everybody watching in the background. You guys take care. Love yourselves. Love your neighbor. With that being said, All Things Serious is out, my friends.
Let's talk about the mind for a minute. The kind of battles fought, you don't just win it. It's a war zone inside, no camouflage. Every thought's a grenade, sitting ready to barrage. Growing up, they said man up, but never speak up. So I bottled it all, like a shaking soda cup. Pressure building inside, I could feel it crack. But the world outside only sees the mask, not the fact. Depression knocking at the door, anxiety's my guest. They invited themselves in, now I'm under duress. But mental health ain't a weakness, it's the strength to own. Every scar, every tear, every struggle we've honed. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. See, seamless like a shadow, it follows you.